Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In February of 2016, after the close of Super Bowl 50 won by Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos, I predicted that the next Super Bowl would be the New York Giants and the Indianapolis Colts for their parallels to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning played for the Colts before coming to Denver, and his little brother Eli plays for the New York Giants. They're both sons of the former quarterback Archie Manning, who played for the Saints and never won anything. Interestingly enough, and because the NFL is scripted and rigged, the Saints would win their first Super Bowl as a franchise against Peyton Manning, the son of Archie Manning. Anyhow, since making that prediction in February, more information has come to light, and I'm now thinking that the Super Bowl might be Colts and Vikings instead of Giants. If I were a betting man, I would bet on both the Colts and the Giants, as well as the Colts and the Vikings, because there's two very real narratives for both teams. And what I want to show in this video, in addition to what I've shown in the last few months with regards to the death of Prince and the upcoming Super Bowl, and the death of Denny Green and the upcoming Super Bowl, I've now made this discovery about possible predictive programming for a Colts and Vikings Super Bowl in the TV show Pawn Stars from the year 2014, the year a pattern began with the Indianapolis Colts. So in case you haven't seen my work on Prince's death and Denny Green's death and what that has to do with the upcoming Super Bowl, let me quickly remind you. Prince died on April 21st, 2016, which was the 112th day of the year. The upcoming Super Bowl is in Houston. Houston in gematria equals 112. Prince also performed in Super Bowl 41, which was won by the Colts and Peyton Manning. The day he died this year, April 21st, 2016, was a date with 41 numerology. After his death, on the anniversary of his album Purple Rain, June 25th, Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, bought one of his most valuable guitars. Jim Irsay in gematria sums to 41, matching the numerology of the date of his death, matching the Super Bowl the Colts won, where Prince performed. The stars of the Vikings on offense are Peterson and Bridgewater. Peterson has Houston connections. The name Peterson sums to 112, so does the name Bridgewater. 112, just like Houston. And again, Prince died on the 112th day of the year in Minnesota, the home of the Vikings. Now, Denny Green, his death was just perfectly synced up with Prince's. We'll review that. He died the night before they opened their new stadium, US Bank Stadium, which is to host Super Bowl 52, the Super Bowl that follows this coming year's Super Bowl. So this coming Super Bowl in Houston, then the next one scheduled for Minnesota. Check this out. The TV show Pawn Stars, in their 10th season, in their 6th episode, which was their 322nd all-time, it was Colts and Vikings. If you ever watched that movie, The Dark Knight Rises, the Batman movie, when the stadium's exploding, notice how it shows the number 322 in the background. That is a number connected to Freemasonry. It is Freemasonry, it is Zionist Judaism, which are interrelated, ruling the world of sports, rigging news, controlling TV, and leaving predictive programming for planned events to come, such as contrived news stories and rigged sports championships, which if you live in the United States of America, that's all you've ever seen in your entire life. For decades, sports have been rigged by the numbers, which I have proven. Go back and see my work predicting the Super Bowl last year, predicting Broncos over Panthers months before it happened, predicting the Von Miller MVP, predicting the Black Panthers tribute. So check this out. This show, Pawn Stars, it was season 10, episode 6, number 322. Prophecy equals 106, and prophecy is always very relevant to sports championships. See my work predicting that the Cavs would defeat the Warriors in the NBA Finals this past year, which I made the prediction in November. Months before it happened all by this number 106, the number of prophecy. The Warriors are originally from Philadelphia, the city named from Revelation, the book of prophecy that concludes the Bible. The 66th book, the same year that the first Super Bowl season happened, 66. This episode was also a date with 45 numerology, and with regards to Colts, think about a Colt 45, the handgun. Possibly a coincidence. The episode called Colts and Vikings, exactly what it was named, Colts and Vikings, like Indianapolis Colts, Minnesota Vikings. Gematria of 179, which is the 41st prime number. Again, Prince's death out of Minnesota connected very much to this number. Jim Irsay bought Prince's guitar by these numbers. The Colts won Super Bowl 41 where Prince performed. The date of Prince's death, there it is, April 21st, 16, a date with 41 numerology, the 112th day of the year. Prince died at age 57. I predicted that Prince would die in February after Vanity died. I said to watch out for the number 67. Blood sacrifice equals 67. Prince's birthday was June 7th, 6/7. He ended up dying in a span of 67 days from Vanity, where I made this prediction and talked about this number. Anyhow, him and Vanity both died at age 57. When you write out 57, it sums to 131. When you write out championship, it sums to 131. When you write out Super Bowl, it sums to 131. Same with when you write out Pawn Stars. And this show, this is why it would have been chosen for predictive programming for an upcoming Vikings and Colts Super Bowl. As I pointed out in earlier work, the Colts and Vikings are scheduled to play each other in the regular season on December 18th, 2016, which is exactly 49 days before the Super Bowl on February 5th. Revelation in Gematria equals 49. Revelation is the book of prophecy. And this year the Super Bowl is on February 5th, which can be written 5/2, a lot like 52. Prophecy, the small way, sums to 52. The big way, 106. The Cleveland Cavaliers ended a 52-year drought, winning in Oakland in the arena that's 106 feet tall on the 106th Father's Day, on the anniversary of the real King James' birthday, who had 106 birth numerology, and so much more. It was the Warriors' 106th game of the season. Sports are coded by the same numbers again and again every year. The powers that be, they're creative. They've figured out ways to code these same numbers into the respective champions. The Minnesota Vikings will also be turning 57 years old in 2017. They were first recognized as a franchise in 60. One last point about this Colts-Vikings game on December 18th. That's 12/18 as we write in the United States, or 18/12 as it's written everywhere else. 18, 1 plus 8 has numerology of 9. 12 is 1 plus 2, 3. So 18, 9, 12, 3, 9, 3. 93 is the number for Saturn, the keeper of time, which has to do with prophecy. Prophecies about foretelling the future, time. Minnesota Vikings and Indianapolis Colts in Gematria both also sum to 93. Prince died on the 93rd meridian. So, real quick, what I want to do now is review the death of Denny Green. I put out 2 videos on his death showing all that was connected. What I overlooked was the reported death of the construction worker at the new stadium. Denny Green's supposedly died the eve before the stadium opened, by the numbers. Look at this. The construction worker's death was August 26, 2015, building this stadium, the new stadium for the Vikings that will host Super Bowl 52, the number of prophecy. Don't forget that Prince said on Tavis Smiley's show in 2009, all we can go by in this world is prophecy. He also died 49 days after attending the Warriors game against the Thunder. Warriors equals 49. He died 49 days later. The Thunder lost with 106 points, the number of prophecy. Go back and see my video on Prince and that Warriors game. So much information. But anyway, from the date of this worker dying to the date of the stadium opening, the new stadium where he died, was 331 days, which is the 67th prime number. Blood sacrifice, 67. Prince dead 67 days after Vanity. Dennis Green had died at age 67 the night before. All year, I've been showing all these celebrity sacrifices by these same numbers. The pattern continues. The company who built the stadium, Gematria of 52, Mortensen equals 52. Dennis Green died 52 days before the opener for the Vikings, which is against Tennessee. Tennessee equals 52. Prophecy 52, Super Bowl 52 in this stadium. Here's Dennis Green's death to the home opener, Minnesota at Tennessee. 52 days. Also a month and 21 days. Revelation, the big way, equals 121. That game I just talked about with Prince, the Warriors, the big way, also sums to 121, just like Revelation. The Warriors are from Philadelphia, the same city named from Revelation. The Warriors won 121 to 106, which sums to 227 points. 227 is the 49th prime. Revelation, the small way, 49. Prince dead 49 days after that game on March 3rd, 3-3. Prince said, all we can go by is prophecy. The reason he said that is because he works for these Masonic tyrants. You know, he was in the know. He worked for this gang for decades. He's also the guy who, closing out his European tour in '99, saying that the United States was about to get bombed by Osama 2 years before it happened. You can watch that video on YouTube. The name of the person in this story, John Wood. John Wood, who they got talking. John has gematria 47, the first Super Bowl in the 47th season of the NFL. Wood equals 57, which we just talked about. World Series in gematria sums to 57. Last year, Dave Henderson died at age 57, 57 days after the end of the World Series, won by the Royals, who he finished his career with. Henderson in gematria sums to 57. He died on the 47th parallel in Seattle, who he also played for. Denny Green, Dennis Green's nickname in gematria sums to 57. Watch my video on the parallels between his death and Prince. In Universal Standard Time, they died 93 days apart. So here's what I want to point out in case you missed it. Denny Green died the night before the opening of the new stadium, US Bank Stadium, which in gematria sums to 155. He died 155 days after his birthday. He turned 67 155 days earlier and then dies the night before the opening of the stadium. By the numbers. If you've never seen my work on science and Christianity, they're both things controlled by Freemasonry. They've both been edited. Almost all the concepts are matches in gematria. The creation of the earth and spirituality is Genesis in the Christian Bible. Genesis equals 33. In science, it's the Big Bang, a term that sounds completely contrived. A Big Bang equals 33. So much more, but these parallels, these numbers, they're the real deal. This is what's going on in the world. This is how the Masons and Zionists who rule over us have been operating for centuries. Tony Dungy, the first ever black coach to win a Super Bowl, something Dennis Green fell short of. Look at his birthday, October 6th, 10/6. Look at this. From the year he became the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl, or coach to win the Super Bowl, from his birthday was 121 days. Again, Revelation 121, Prophecy 106, just like the game Prince attended before dying, the guy who said all we can go by is prophecy, who's directly connected to this upcoming Super Bowl. Something I said the day of, you know. That's why people need to acknowledge the worth of my work. I'm predicting the death of Prince. I'm saying the day of, how this connects to sports championships. I also showed how his death connected to the NBA Finals. Game 1 of the NBA Finals, they announced his cause of death. With regards to Tony Dungy becoming the first black coach to win a Super Bowl on February 4th, a date written 4/2, a lot like 42, the month of February is the only month that sums to 42. It's Black History Month, and 42 is a number that's been stamped on black people all throughout history. Tony Dungy, or not Tony Dungy, Jackie Robinson wore 42, first black baseball player in white major leagues. 42 represents the most hateful word for black Americans. I know you know it. Check out some black celebrities in history born on that date, dead on that date, Rosa Parks and more. Rosa Parks, you know, black civil rights on the bus. Bus equals 42. If you missed my last video, it was on the hoax bus crash this past weekend for Dallas. Their bus supposedly crashed at milepost 42 in Arizona, 49 days before their home opener against the Giants in Dallas. Dallas 49. New York City, Dallas, the two cities with the most devastating national news stories in the last half a century, the assassination of JFK, 9/11. See my video on that. Super Bowl 51, we might have a problem. Houston, do we have a problem? Check out all my work. See where things are going. See how the Super Bowl that Tom Brady won was directly connected to September 11th, and so much more. Huge topic here, Truth Seeker. Close out with a few more things. The Vikings established in 60. Again, they're going to turn 57 in 2017, the year that they might appear in the championship. Should they appear, I suspect the Colts will defeat them. Where the Minnesota Vikings are headquartered, Eden Prairie, Minnesota, gematria of 106 like prophecy. Again, 52 the small way. They're hosting Super Bowl 52. Minneapolis, Minnesota also has gematria of 93, and it's on the 93rd meridian. Minneapolis, Minnesota, named with its coordinates like so many other major cities. That's not uncommon at all. That's how the Masons have done it over all these years. The Super Bowl, it will come 44 days before Adrian Peterson's birthday. The Super Bowl will also be on a date with 44 numerology. In the movie Oblivion, Oblivion equals 44 in gematria. There's a hint that Super Bowl 51 is the last Super Bowl ever played. I don't know if that will be true, but the hint has been dropped in the movies. Predictive programming. Remember, the Zionist Jews drop clues in their TV shows and their news and their movies. This is how they do it. They control the world. They're bored. They mock us. They get off on it. They have gut laughs at our expense every day. They can't believe the Goy fell for another bullshit story, another scripted sports championship that looked anything but real. The grown men of this nation really need to pull the wool off their eyes. Adrian Peterson's birthday is also 21/3. 213 is a number coded all over the killing of black Americans, as is 44. The date February 13th, which can be written 2/13th, is also the 44th day of the year. I find all this really interesting in light of the date of the Super Bowl, its numerology of 44, the history of what's going on in this nation. Hands up, don't shoot equals 213. The NFL, some of its players have taken part in that celebration, doing the hands up, don't shoot pose. All of this stuff is scripted. You guys got to wake up to what's going on. Black Lives Matter's controlled opposition. The shootings in the media are fake. It's all meant as part of the grand divide and conquer narrative. My work's way deeper than sports predictions. But if you follow my work, you've seen the videos I've been doing. Last year I did a video on the primetime game between the Vikings and Giants. Vikings won it 49-17. Remember, the Vikings and Colts play 49 days before the upcoming Super Bowl this year. Number of revelation and prophecy. The player at the end of the game who scored a 68-yard touchdown, his name was Jerick McKinnon. 68-yard touchdown, meaning it started at the 32-yard line. His name sums to 68. NFL equals 32. America equals 32. America's game. And America's game's always been scripted by the numbers. That entire play, the 68-yard touchdown run, was truly scripted for him from the 32. You follow my work. I document these kind of things all throughout the season. See my work on the missed field goal by the Vikings against the Seahawks and how scripted that was. All of you who are fans of these teams, you need to get over it. You need to stop giving your money to these tyrants. You need to stop giving your energy and your time. I knew to stop watching all this stuff back in 2001 after the Patriots became the greatest team after September 11th. Nothing could have been more transparent. How fake sports were, how fake the news was. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link this post right here in the description along with everything else you've seen. Find this post and read what this man wrote. He sent all this to me in an email. He learned from my work, and he caught on in May that Vikings were a legitimate shot for the Super Bowl, as well as the Giants. And I'd also said the same thing after the death of Prince, but this is one of my followers. He really applied the knowledge. He made some very beautiful finds. I'd go through all of this, but then the video will be an extra hour long. So this is your homework assignment. If you want to know more, I'm going to link this in the description, along with all these other blog posts, as well as my how-to gematria video, so you can learn this skill and do it yourself. Anybody can learn this. You learn this, you see what's going on in the world. Here's Jim Irsay buying Prince's guitar on the anniversary of his Purple Rain album. He bought it on a date with 67 numerology, 67 days after Prince's death. 67 days after Prince's death, he buys the guitar, Blood Sacrifice 67. Again, Jim Irsay 41, like the halftime show Prince performed in, that Peyton Manning won. It's always been scripted, Truth Seeker. Until next time.